Here's Elon Musk. David Faber asking him about his tweet comparing George Soros to an evil character in Magento in what the X-Men, right?
Magneto, yep.
Magneto.
Magento is a magenta color.
And I wonder what makes Soros so evil.
But how do you make a choice? You don't see, I mean, in terms of when you're going to engage. I mean, for example, even today, Elon, you tweeted this thing about George Soros. Well, I'm looking for it because I want to make sure I quote it properly. But I mean, you know what you wrote. But you basically.
It reminds me of Magneto. This is like, calm down, people. This is not like made a pedal case out of it.
You also, you said he wants to erode the very fabric of civilization, and Soros hates humanity. Like when you do something like that.
Well, pause. Let's be clear. It's one thing to say like, you're like Thanos or you're like Magneto. It's another to say you hate humanity and you're going to try and destroy humanity. It's like, I was joking around with the Magneto thing, but I was serious about hating humanity. Go back.
Make a pedal case out of it.
You also, you said he wants to erode the very fabric of civilization, and Soros hates humanity. Like when you do something like that, do you
I think that's true. That's my opinion.
Okay, but why share it? Why share it? Especially because, I mean, why share it when people who buy Teslas may not agree with you?
Pause it. See, I mean, like the angle of which this guy's like, it's hurting your business.
Exactly.
What about, wait, can we examine the basis of this? Because George Soros just happens to be a lightning rod for anti-Semitism. Can we examine the basis of this? Why is this your opinion?
Now, why express it now?
Well, why are you taking Dad's car? Why? Dude, it's going to ruin your shocks. You're going to ruin the paint job. All right, keep playing. Keep playing.
Yeah, I think that's true. That's my opinion.
Okay, but why share it? Why share it? Especially because, I mean, why share it when people who buy Teslas may not agree with you? Advertisers on Twitter may not agree with you. Why not just say, hey, I think this. You can tell me. We can talk about it over there. You can tell your friends. But why share it widely?
I mean, this is freedom of speech. I'm allowed to say what I want.
You absolutely are, but I'm trying to understand why you do, because you have to know it's got a. It puts you in the middle of the partisan divide in the country. It makes you a lightning rod for criticism. I mean, do you like that?
Like, why is this reporter talking to him like he's 10? It's literally like you said, like, hey, why did you stand up at the dinner table, bend over and fart in front of everybody? Freedom of speech. No, I understand that you are free to do that. But why did you think that was a good idea? Like, what motivated you to do that? This guy's talking to him like he's 10. He doesn't realize that that Musk is trying to be evasive. Why? Like, instead of even asking, like, why would you do that when you know that some people may have sensitivities? Why don't you ask, like, what is the basis of your opinion?
Right. Yes. What's the warrant for the claim that you're making?
Exactly.
Do, because you have to know it's got it puts you in the middle of the partisan divide in the country. It makes you a lightning rod for criticism. I mean, do you like that? People today saying he's an anti-Semite. I don't think you are.
No, I'm definitely. I'm like a pro-semite, if anything.
I believe that probably is the case. Yes. But why would you even introduce the idea then that would be the case?
I mean, listen, we don't want to make this a George Soros interview.
No, God, no. I don't want to at all. But what I'm trying, even came up though in the annual meeting. I mean, do your tweets hurt the company? Are there Tesla owners who say, I don't agree with his political position and I know it because he shares so much of it? Or are there advertisers on Twitter that Linda Yaccarino will come and say, you got to stop, man. Or, I can't get these ads because of some of the things you tweet.
I'm reminded of the scene in The Princess Bride.
Oh my God!
Great movie.
Great movie.
Great kids.
Where he confronts the person who killed his father, and he says, "Offer me money. Offer me power. I don't care."
So you just don't care. You want to share what you have to say.
I'll say what I want to say, and if the consequence of that is losing money, so be it.
Okay.
Now, when you're CEO of a publicly traded company, you have a fiduciary responsibility to maximize your shareholders' profits. Now, I totally have an appreciation for him not doing that. I think we should see more of that, actually.
Wipe out those investors, buddy.
But speaking of investors, and it turns out Magneto was also Jewish. Apparently, he was also a Holocaust
Son of
survivor.
Holocaust survivors, yeah.
I'm sure that was a coincidence. It's so hard to find names of villains these days to say who genuinely hate humanity. But will you pop up I believe, a headline from that very day that he did this tweet, actually. I think billionaire investor George Soros fund dumped its entire Tesla stake in the first quarter, cashing out the EVs maker's 2023 rebound.
Oh, cash out on that rebound that we've been hearing about.
Oh, interesting. In other words, doesn't think there's much of a future. Now, Soros has only like a fraction of the billions that Elon Musk has. If it was up to me, I wouldn't throw both of them in jail. I would make it civilly illegal for them to have that kind of money if they're American citizens. I would tax them to the extent that they would not be able to accumulate that kind of money. But I wonder why that didn't come up. And maybe it was because Elon said, like, this is not a George Soros interview. Right. In other words, don't say the thing about him selling all his stock, because that makes Tesla look bad. Even though, pay me money, I don't care. Right? Like, what's he doing on, like, why is he on CNBC? Like,
dump your whole investment in the first quarter, cashing out on our rebound, I don't care.
He is so absurd. It's fascinating. The idea is like, I don't care. I don't care about what I tweet in terms of, okay, well then how about reporter questioning him on the basis of his tweets? Since he owns Twitter, which 6 months ago we were calling the public square. Remember when we did that? Remember all the stuff of what that was released in the Twitter files because this is the public square? Well, what about the public square now being dominated by a guy who is literally changing the algorithm so that he gets to dominate the public square because he has billions of dollars? Like, I don't know how much like you need the metaphor to get more explicit. Right? Like, how much more explicit can the metaphor get that the billionaire, and it's certainly within his right, but wasn't the whole point of the Twitter files to suggest that this is the public square? This is a valuable public institution that is so sacred.
Things are different now.
I mean, like the contradictions associated with this are just so massive. And the failure of the press to report on now the public square is being dominated by this huge bigot. He's a bigot. He's a huge bigot. Defending white supremacists from charges that he thinks are psyops, that they kill people.
I mean, he's from a family who got passive income under apartheid South Africa and didn't have any public statements about that until later, much later in life. So yeah, I wonder how he looks at wokeness. I wonder how he historicizes that.